All right, you're putting up with Doc T, and today what we're putting up with is moving this Honda Goldwing that has a flat front tire, which at the moment is off the ground, and a locked up back wheel that I don't know what the problem is with that. But so what we're trying to do is we are trying to move this because this bike's been sitting here for years, and I have just reorganized my shed. And in the process, if you look past that bike from where I would stand to shoot, my target is right behind the bike. So we got to get the bike out of the way. It also is just in a bad place for the plans that I have for the shed this winter. And so what we're doing is something I would recommend nobody ever do unless you are a master redneck or hippie that knows how to make stuff happen. We don't want to drop this bike on top of ourselves. So what we're doing is using a series of balance points touching different parts of the frame. I have jacked it up, started on the other side, jacked it up on this side, and I was going to try and get something else under there, but what I figured out is that when I'm jacking it up, it's trying to slide just a little bit on this ramp right here. And so what I've done is I've devised a redneck way of making it happen, and so I've got to come along here that goes up, and you'll notice that it's wrapped around a pipe that crosses my rafters because I don't want to pull my my ceiling down, and I'm not going to put too much weight on any point. The other thing that I've got, other than the stand there for support, is on this side I've got the jack that has wheels. I've got another ramp if I need it, but I found I haven't needed it. And I've got just a basic strap here that will allow me, when I'm pulling it, to just move that bike a little bit. And what it's doing is it's actually sliding that ramp that the bike is sitting on. So what I want to do though is it's rotating around that front wheel. And so what I want to do is I want to raise that front wheel, so I've got a jack in the front, and as I lift this, it lifts that front wheel. And I don't want it to come off the ground. I just want to get the weight off of it so that I can slide it. And what's happening as I do this is the bike is standing up, so it's becoming more flat. So I could slide that in there just for safety. Just in case something goes crooked, because sometimes stuff does go crooked. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and pull that front wheel around, and I'm going to do that with the come along. And I'm going to get a little more distance, and then I'm going to move that come along further forward. But right now I have just too little to be able to do it. I don't have enough slack in my come along chain. So there we go. That's allowing me to rotate that. Just pulling it with my hand, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, is it's not really in the air, so if it did drop it wouldn't drop very far. What I need to do is get a motorcycle hoist, and take this whole thing apart, but we'll see what happens if we ever get to that. So I'm going to just keep on doing this, and I'm going to put this down, and then I'll join it back again after I get it over there. Okay, so you can tell by looking at where that grate was that was under the front wheel before, I've been able to move it over a little bit, and I've been able to move this come along from back here to the front here, so it should pull that front end around, and let's see what happens. Okay, it's pulling it up right now, and I don't want it to go up anymore. Okay. So, I think let's move that in. And give it a little bump. Well, let's see. I'll figure something out, and I'll catch you up. Be back in a minute. Okay, so there's really only one way forward with this, and that's just one little piece at a time. Crank this, push that, slide that under there, and that actually worked out pretty good a minute ago because that caught under a slide when this is ready to come out. All right, so you'll notice we've made pretty good progress. My goal is to try and get it over to about the same level as where that door is. And so, oops, okay, so there's no tension on that at all. Let me rig this up. Be right back. All right, and that little bit of slack that I gained let me get further up in front of the bike. So now I put the pressure on there. The bike is this wheel is in the front, and the front is up in the air right now, pretty much in the air. So again, just kind of going through and moving each point, taking up the slack that the previous one made, and not putting too much pressure anywhere. And normally I make the best progress from just pushing the bike. There we go. All right, this is going to take a little while. All right, that's it. I just inched it over a bit at a time, moving one little piece then the other. And once we got so that that was a little bit higher, it just got easier along the way the further I moved. So anyway, that coming back to why we're doing this in the first place, that opens up my shooting gallery. All right, hope y'all have a good day. You've been putting up a Doc T, and we are getting ready to start shooting our bow.